What's going on, guys? Aaron with Lansing Lawn Service. We're back with another tough cut video with the Ventrac. We have got to knock all this down and in the backyard, so we're not gonna mull over it. We're not gonna walk through it. We're just gonna get to work and you get to see it. Stay tuned till the end of the video. There will be before and after pictures back there so that you can see the transformation of this property from overgrown back to nice. Let's go. Alright guys, so here we go. Just starting out here, and guys, I gotta explain something to you. So this is a person's home, and they called me out because they had done Nomo May. That has become kind of a bigger thing in our area, especially over near the campus of Michigan State University. There's a lot of people that like to do that sort of thing over there to help the bees, in quotation marks. And so this lady called me. She told me that she had done Nomo May and the lawn had gotten away from her and her mower was not in operating order, and she didn't know it until June. And by the time she figured out that her mower wasn't working, she had a big problem on her hands because it's now July when I'm doing this property. So as you can see, it's very overgrown, and we needed to come in with a brush hog, or the tough cut in this particular instance with the Ventrac, and knock down this yard. This is what can happen when you do Nomo May. Okay? Now, there's a lot of people that would say, no, your lawn's not going to get overgrown. Well, it could. Okay? We could get a lot of rain in May, and then all of a sudden your grass is 2 feet tall, and you can't get through it with your push mower or your riding lawn mower, and you need to call somebody in that can do that job. And in this instance, it was way more expensive for this person to have us come in and do a tough cut than it would have been just to mow her lawn, or even pay somebody to mow her lawn the entire month of May and June. So with that being said, this is the result of someone trying to do Nomo May, something that is generally thought of as a good thing for the bees. But as you can see, there's no flowers on this property. There's no real flowering plants on this property. We did not come across any bees on this property. And so this is what can happen when you just let your property go for some good cause that you think is good, but in reality, this is what can happen. So some of this grass in some places was 4 feet tall. Some of the weeds in this particular instance were 5 feet tall. She had some pricker bushes that were just huge, not pricker bushes, but prickers. And this is what can happen when you don't keep up on your lawn, especially in the peak growing time of cool season grasses. So this is why your lawn care provider may say, you know what, Nomo May is not a very good idea for your lawn. And this is a very good instance on why that is the case. Because as you can see, we had to come in and brush hog this lawn because it was overgrown. And so, yes, I think a zero turn could have gotten through this. However, it would have taken a lot longer, and it would have been a lot more wear and tear on that particular mower. So that's why we brought in the tough cut. We just knocked it down. That's what the customer wanted, so that's what we did. And it turned out great. But this is the result of someone trying to do something good for nature, and it turned out to be really bad for her property because she had moles everywhere. I mean, they were scurrying all over the place when we were mowing and getting away from this machine. I mean, they were everywhere, and they could have been rats. I don't know. I didn't see them. I'm pretty sure they were moles. So this is what can happen. This kind of thing attracts pests, and they can start to destroy your property. So that's why we don't do Nomo May here in our area. At least I don't encourage it, because it can be a terrible thing. The person you see working with me here, that's my son Marcus. He's 13 years old. He loves running the Ventrac. He does a really good job. So he came with me on this particular job and ran the Ventrac quite a bit. He also did some filming. So I did some filming, he did some filming. I did some tough cut work, he did some tough cut work, and it just worked out. He loves running the machine, and he's pretty good at it. So this was not a necessarily hard job to do tough cut work on. It's just grass that we're just knocking down. We did have to knock down a few small sucker trees, but that was about it. The customer did have some brush piles and things like that she wanted left. She said she was going to take care of them. She also had a flower bed in the middle of the yard here that we went around, and this was a particular tree that she wanted us to leave. So we just went around things and just kind of cleaned it up as best as we could. She did not ask for any weed eating or anything like that, so we didn't do any of that. As you can see, this huge willow tree, I mean a huge willow tree, one of the biggest I've ever seen. There is just branches galore under that thing. She said, just leave it, don't go under there. I've got to save up money to get the thing cut down. It's an insurance hazard for my home. So we didn't go under the tree. I went a little under, but not much. She's got to get that thing taken care of because it is a huge tree and it is a huge liability to her home. So that's why we didn't go under the tree. Now I do have to say, on this particular property, we did go over it, and I did have the tough cut set on the lowest setting because it is grass, but the tough cut is not going to mulch up grass. And so we actually double cut this yard because it is a yard, it's not just a field. So I went up and down to knock it down, and then we went side to side and went over it again just to mulch up as much as we could, and it did okay. It looked all right when we were done, but the Tough Cut is not meant to mulch up anything. It is meant to just knock it down. Now it will mulch up trees and small trees and bushes and shrubs, things like that. It will mulch those things up almost, not quite, but almost like a forestry mulcher. So it does really good with brush. I mean, really good with brush. It does okay with grass, but it does amazingly well with brush. With the Ventrac, you see those dual wheels here on the Ventrac. You can actually take that extra set of wheels off if you want to, and you can just go with single wheels. For anything brush hogging, we leave those dual wheels on because it makes it a smoother ride. If there's any dips, holes, anything like that, that just gives the Ventrac a stable ride. These duals also really help the Ventrac go on steep hills. Now, we don't have a lot of steep hills in Michigan, but we have ditches, we have things like that, and so they really help to hold hills really well. These tires have very aggressive tread. They hold a hill really well, and so whenever we do brush hogging work, we put those dual wheels on so that we get good traction. We're not getting stuck in a hole. The Ventrac is very good. I mean, it's a very good machine. It articulates in the middle, so it can be twisted. It can go down in a hole. It can do all kinds of things. When we're mowing with the Tough Cut deck here, we put the deck into float mode. And so it just floats over the ground and goes with the contour of the ground. So we don't have to keep adjusting the deck. It just floats along and cuts things as low as it can. And that is the beauty of having the Ventrac, because it just goes with the contour of the ground. Ventrac makes golf course mowers. They make regular mowing decks that you can use on your lawn. They make the Tough Cut deck. They make a flail mower, which has little hammers that spin, and that mulches up the grass much better than the Tough Cut, but it's a really expensive deck. That would have been a great deck to have for this particular property, because it would have just mulched this grass up and really done a nice job. But I don't have $10,000 to throw down on a flail mower, so we're going with what we got. We've got the Tough Cut, and it does a great job as well. So that is just the amazing part of having this machine. I've only got two implements for it. I have a power rake, and I have the Tough Cut mower deck. By and large, I mean, I don't use the Ventrac for any mowing other than Tough Cut. I don't have a regular mowing deck. The tractor is just too expensive, in my opinion, to use it to mow a lawn. So we do heavy machinery work with this machine. So I do driveway repairs, which you can look on my channel. You can see a bunch of driveway repair videos. And I do have other brush hogging job videos on my channel, some that are more exciting than this one, and I encourage you guys to go check those out because they are great. All right, guys, it is all done. Look at that. It's all knocked down. It's not super pretty because this is a Tough Cut. This is not a regular maintenance mower. So we knocked it down though. Some of this stuff was like, I don't know, 5-6 feet tall. So it was pretty tall, but we got it cleaned up for her. I hope she's happy with that. We actually double cut it. We cut it one way and then we cut it the opposite way, just to make sure, because this is a lawn, we wanted to make sure that it was cut up as much as possible. The tough cut doesn't mulch things up very well, but it does just knock things down. That's what it's meant to do, is just knock it down like a brush hog. So that's what it did. So guys, here's the before and after pictures. And I will see you in the next video.